Hey guys, this is Leo here from Dean Winchester. So we got another great episode last night with two separate storylines going parallel to each other. The whole story was Nick and his revenge plot against a demon who killed his family. And the other big plot is Dean's suicidal plan to save the world, which we find out at the end of the episode, which we're gonna talk about in details. His only way in his mind, according to Billy, to stop Michael. The only death for Dean that doesn't involve Michael taking over his mind, possessing his body, and destroying the world. And killing him in the process too. So the one death, there's no other way. That's what she told him. That's actually Doctor Strange in Avengers Infinity War, but she sounds like him. She told him it's only one way, the book she gave him, that he has to build this magical wording box, that's some magical plot convenience device that was just invented in last night's episode to contain Michael, drown himself in the ocean with Michael in this magical holding wording box, log box. What's in the box? Michael and Dean apparently, and that's the only way, according to Billy, to stop Michael. So Dean made up his mind. He went, since the beginning of the episode, he decided to go on his goodbye tour. He emotionally says goodbye to Sammy, gives him a hug, which Sam finds very odd, and I find really funny. It's supposed to be a sweet moment, but it's kind of funny too, because the way Dean's saying goodbye, you know he's hiding something. Even as a viewer, you don't have to be like part of his family or something. We all know how Dean acts when he's suicidal, like he did with Lisa and Sam back in season 5 when he was about to say yes to original Michael 1 of our world. Ironically, the same exact scenario is now, but it's reversed. He already has Michael, but 2 instead of 1. And that's his way of getting rid of him. Instead of accepting him in his body. He's already made that mistake last season in the finale by accepting Michael. Now to get rid of that problem, he has to commit another act of suicide / self-sacrifice. If he actually does listen to Billy, he has to go through this plan of locking himself in a box and drowning himself in the ocean, dying with Michael locked inside him forever, apparently. So he doesn't tell Sam, he just says his cryptic goodbye. Sam obviously freaks out because he knows Dean too well. He knows he's up to something, he just doesn't know exactly what. Sam keeps, snooping around in the library, finds one of the books missing. He kind of like earmarks the book or something. He tracks what the book was, and he's worried that Dean is up to something bad, obviously. So he calls Mary to check on Dean to see like what he's up to. Dean tells him he's gonna go, spend some time with Mom, alone time. He doesn't want Sam with him because he doesn't want to worry Sam extra, and he knows Sam is the only one who can convince him to change his mind, which we find out at the end of the episode when Sam kind of gets in a argument with him about it. Dean tells him that. But anyway, so Dean goes on his goodbye trip, his goodbye tour, Euro tour, whatever, and he says goodbye to Donna, and then goes to Mary to say goodbye to her. He spends like a couple of nights with Mary, and tells her story about John, stuff like that. And he sends her on a trip to get some pie so he can have some alone time to build his magical box, which we find out Dean learned a new skill, which is welding, which he never done on the show before. Jensen didn't know how to do it either, but apparently he's just new for this episode. It's just magical skill. I'm sure he's gonna write it in his characters that he already knew it. John taught it to him when he was a kid or something, but we all know he didn't know about it before. And Jensen didn't know about it before, but he learned it especially for that episode. As we saw in the convention I posted about, when the latest convention, when Jensen talked about the scene, he had to learn a new skill for it, and yeah, he seemed to be very good at it from what I see. Not that I would know, I have no idea how to weld anything, but yeah, Jensen did a good job. Dean did a good job welding, and he created this magical box, which apparently is not that hard to create if you're just a human who's welding for the first time. Yeah, so apparently Billy gave him directions in the one death in the book that Dean doesn't destroy the world with Michael. She gave him like directions on how to weld, so thanks Billy, I guess, for those very helpful directions. So Mary is also concerned for Dean. He's acting weird, like he's acting as if he's literally gonna suicide himself, and he's just saying goodbye to her, which is very obvious when it comes to Dean. Even when he's smiling and cheering and stuff, he's hiding something. Mary tries to find out what's up with Dean, but obviously he's closed off as usual. Typical Dean, he refuses to tell her. So yeah, that's what this storyline goes until it intertwines with the other big storyline from the episode, which is about Nick and his revenge plot against the demon who killed his family. We finally get a conclusion to that in this episode. At least that's what it seemed like. It's a conclusion to Nick's revenge story. We don't know if it's gonna lead to more. I believe it will lead to Lucifer coming back, because he already woke him up from the empty, told him he can't live without him and stuff, so they're not just gonna play with us, wake Lucifer up from the empty, have his red eyes, Terminator eyes light up, and then not bring him back. That's not possible. So he's either coming back towards the end in the later episodes, or actually in the finale. This would be like one of the bigger cliffhangers. Oh, I don't think it's gonna be the only one. Probably gonna have the empty snatching Cass. Apparently he's gonna be happy for a moment in the finale. That's my guess, because that's what the empty said. Is gonna come to Cass to snatch him when he's happy, because the empty is mean. Apparently that's what they do. And then the other cliffhanger, I believe, would be Lucifer rising and going back into Nick. He already rose in the empty, right? So he already woke up, so him getting back into Nick would be the big thing. But I believe it actually would happen before the finale. That's too long to wait for the finale for Lucifer to come back, so I think he will come back before that. So anyway, Lucifer tracks down Mary because he finds out she trapped the demon who actually killed his family. His name's Abraxas. Donna tries to arrest him. He knocks her out, but oddly enough, he doesn't kill her. You'd think Nick, who in his full psycho mode right now, who doesn't leave anyone behind. So for very obvious plot convenience purposes, to not kill one of the wayward sisters, Nick does not kill Donna and allows her to warn the guys. Too late, but she does warn them that Nick is back and is after their mom. So conveniently, by the time Donna wakes up to warn them, Nick already kidnaps Mary as Dean is sleeping. Dean gets furious, especially when Sam arrives at the same time. Dean yells at him that mom is gone, and on their way, when they find out where Nick's van is, when they track it, Dean finally lets it out on Sam, gets mad at him for accepting Nick into the bunker and all of that, and giving him a chance, letting him go, not like locking him up or killing him or something. That's apparently what Dean was expecting. He didn't think Nick could change, and Nick proved him right. Nick didn't change. Nick actually is just almost as bad as actual Lucifer. He's just missing his powers at this point. He's basically Lucifer without his powers, except apparently even more psychotic. Lucifer had his moments, but at least he had humor. He wasn't mostly killing senseless for no reason. Even when he killed the hunter last season, in the finale of season 13, she kind of like saw him, I think, and he didn't want her to tell on him or something. I don't know, but he didn't just kill her because just to kill her. He did say he enjoyed like crushing her skull or something, which was very graphic. Apparently, well, obviously he is kind of psychotic as Lucifer, but apparently Nick is psychotic too, and we find out for sure, it's been speculation for a while, how Lucifer was involved in the family murder of Nick, or if Nick himself killed his family, as I made a theory about earlier. It turned out to be the other theory, which is, yeah, Lucifer arranged for Nick's family to be murdered to push him further to the edge, for him to say yes and be open to possession by Lucifer. Apparently he chose him out of nowhere, it's random. According to the demon Abraxas, which Nick ends up getting out of a box that looks like the Lament configuration from Hellraiser. Apparently that's like some random ideas that came to the writers in season 14 to reference Hellraiser, which I found pretty humorous. I wasn't like, oh cool, Hellraiser. I was like, really? Hellraiser? A box? A demon in the box? Just like Hellraiser? Now, I half expected Pinhead to come out, but turned out to just be another lame human with black eyes. I just want to spend more money on budget as far as like effects. I mean, just practical effects, not even special effects. Just put some nice, cool, creepy makeup on the monsters. It doesn't cost that much, guys. I mean, he had much lower budget in earlier seasons, but he had much cooler looking monsters. And he had a Wendigo, which a lot of people would complain about what it looked like, but I believe it looked much cooler than all the monsters in all recent seasons, to be honest. Which all pretty much are humans with different colored eyes. That's the monsters we've been getting in Supernatural for a while. Anyway, Abraxas turns out to be another silly, psychotic demon who's crazy, and he talks like in very exaggerating manner and stuff like that. And pretty much he's a psycho. What do you expect from a demon, right? All demons are like that on Supernatural. They don't have any other extra special characteristic other than being like crazy, psychotic, and stuff like that. He does some telekinesis, some levitation tricks, Abraxas, when he lifts the boys up and lands them down, which I thought was cool. I was like, finally, we see some power from a demon on Supernatural once again. They've been nerfing everyone. Angels, demons, they all don't have anything. They're useless. Cass is a punching bag now, as everyone keeps making jokes about him. And yeah, demons apparently just go around punching people like normal humans now and stabbing people instead of like using their powers to snap people's necks or like, you know, fling people around like they used to in earlier seasons. Remember the episode Phantom Traveler in a season 1, a very early episode, I believe it was episode 3 actually, or episode 4, something like that. I believe it is episode 3. Remember how scary the first demon we saw was in Phantom Traveler, who was crashing planes, and the boys were terrified, especially Dean, to go on the plane and stop him. Dean was terrified more of the flying, not actually the demon, but you get the idea. The demon itself was very scary and very intimidating, and they struggled to beat him with the exorcisms they did on him. So later we just have demons being killed with knives and stuff and being fought like normal humans. It's just not as scary or intimidating anymore. Abraxas is not that different, but we've seen some powers from him. He didn't use it to any fatal degree as he expect. He's just not gonna kill the heroes, obviously. So he just does his silly trick of levitation and he brings them down. But of course he lets Nick sneak up on behind his back with the only weapon that can kill him in this scene, which is the angel blade, and he stabs him to death, getting his revenge, his long-awaited revenge. And he can feel all his emotions before he kills him and during killing him, and after that, yeah, he's getting his release finally. He cries and stuff like that. I mean, Nick is kind of psychotic and crazy, but you kind of feel bad for him too, because obviously he's very damaged from what happened to his family, and you know, he got his revenge and he thinks this will fix him, but it won't. He even told Sam at the end, I was never broken. Like, he's been a psycho for a while. I mean, possibly even before what happened to his family, we don't know, but especially after, for sure. I mean, why else would Lucifer pick him before he killed his family? Must be something about him that fits Lucifer's, you know, character or whatever. He could have a psychotic urge in him even before his family was killed, which is kind of what I predicted before anything happened, before we got the explanation. So anyway, we get to the end of the episode. First of all, Sam tells Nick off, kind of like tells him like burn, literally at the end. First of all, he's having some compassion for Nick. He's like, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. But then Nick is like, I was never broken. He's like, well, I'm sorry I couldn't save the people. I'm sorry for them, not for you. So Sam's tone kind of shifts after that. It seemed like he had compassion for Nick at first, but then he kind of got resentful. Looking at the face of pretty much Lucifer, who tortured him in hell and all of that, and in his when he had the wall hallucination things, when Lucifer was messing with him. So Sam kind of like invoked that in his memory after Nick told him I was never broken, and he kind of turned sour from being compassionate to being kind of cruel. He's like, well, I don't feel bad for you, I feel bad for those people, there's the real victims. And then he told him to burn, so that escalated quickly from Sam. So anyway, definitely it's not the end for Nick / Lucifer, because obviously we do see it in next week's promo, and I didn't expect it to be the end anyway. So clearly Nick will escape as soon as next episode, and most likely will take big steps towards getting Lucifer back in him. If not the next episode, then very, very soon after that. I don't think we're gonna have to wait till the finale to see Lucifer finally getting back into Nick. Alright, this sounded weird, but yeah, you get what I mean, guys. Okay, so we get to the bigger part of the finale, the part we've all been waiting for. What is Dean's insane plan to stop Michael that he's been hiding from everyone? Well, guess what it is? A magical box that was just invented in this episode to contain Michael. It is this special worded box that Billy told Dean to build that apparently can contain Michael, and anything else is not gonna work, and Dean's convinced by that. And he hides that from Sam because, as he told him at the end, Sam is the only one who could have convinced him to not go through with it. And then he told him, well, I'm not gonna change my mind, Sam, that's it. Either help me or not help me, but I'm doing it either way. So Sam very reluctantly, first of all, he's heartbroken that Dean didn't tell him, but he explains it to him. And he's heartbroken Dean is listening to Fate, even though he's a leader of Team Free Will. He used to like despise Fate, he doesn't listen to Fate. he says screw you fate pretty much, but now he wants to listen to fate. So whatever, Sam tries to talk Dean out of it, but he gives up at the end when Dean very firmly tells him he's not gonna change his mind about this. Sam gives up and tells him, okay, I'm gonna help you, and that's how the episode ends. So we're left with a very hopeless situation here where Dean pretty much intending to commit suicide to save the world once again like he wanted to originally in season 5 with original Michael. So I have a separate videos breakdown of next week's promo which gives us further hints of what happens in the next episode regarding to that ending. I recommend definitely watching both videos to get the full context because I go in full details in the promo in the other video. So just briefly, I'm gonna mention quick in this one that next week Dean seems to be going through with his plan and he might have some doubts about it. Too late, Dean apparently has doubts about it too late after he already can be helped, he cannot reach Sam. Again, I go in much more detail in my breakdown video of the promo, which either is out now or I'll be putting out soon. So check the other video out, guys. So that's it for this video. What do you think about this episode? Do you agree with my thoughts? What do you think about Dean's decision at the end? Let me know down below in the comments. Subscribe for more awesome Supernatural content. Till next time, as always, no chick flick moments. Anyway, so the magical solution comes in with the box. What's in the box, right? Well, it's apparently Michael, Dean, Dykel in the box, and that's how you save the world, according to Billy. Even though you think Team Free Will, you know, initiated by Dean to begin with, doesn't listen to like fate BS from like higher powers like death, God, all those, you know, bigger than life entities. In this case, he's like, oh, Sam actually brought this up at the end of last episode. He's like, since when we listen to this fate crap? And Dean is like, since now, Sam, since now. Well, Dean, that doesn't sound reasonable at all. Sounds pretty stupid, actually. He's just saying that because it's written in a script, because you're desperate and depressed and you don't want to think outside the box. Pun not intended, by the way, but it works in this case. Dean doesn't want to think outside the box in this case. Literally, he just wants to go in the box, drown himself with Michael in the ocean, and that's it. He doesn't want to think of another solution.
Awesome. That's awesome.
You're awesome.